Everybody loves a good pairing, like peanut butter and jelly, or movies and popcorn. But you know what else is a good pairing? Employee feedback and recognition. Because listening to employees is great, but acting on what they tell you, that's what actually builds trust. And when it's all in one system of action, life just gets that much better. Feedback shows you what matters. Recognition is a way you can act on it. So whether it's waffles and syrup, surfing and sunsets, or feedback and recognition, they're just better together.
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Mefford, a solutions engineer here at Awardco. And today I want to show you a simple idea, that recognition and employee engagement are better together. I'm going to show a simple flow. A leader identifies ideas in Awardco of issues, things that are going on, takes action through an Awardco recognition platform, and then comes back to see the impact. Let's start with Aaron, the Director of Customer Support. He's responsible for a large team, so he needs a fast way to understand what's working and where his team needs help. Using Awardco Engage, they've run an annual engagement survey, and he's now looking at the results. He can easily see the various themes that were asked within the survey. And this is important. Engage takes all of the questions and organizes them by theme to make it easy for frontline leaders like Aaron to understand where they need to take action. In fact, our correlation here in the middle that he sees identifies immediately his team's strengths and where they have opportunities for improvement. So for Aaron, his team is focused around learning opportunities, recognition, and work-life balance. He can drill into any of these areas to go a level deeper to understand what's happening within that. The themes are great. They give you that starting point that help you understand the overall impact, but really the question level is where he starts to understand exactly how his employees feel and what their sentiment is along the way. Now, within this view, he's going to see all of the individual questions laid out. He can see the exact answers that employees gave while still respecting our confidentiality thresholds. So you'll see within that one theme, he can understand within his team, they don't feel like they have an opportunity to learn new skills, and they haven't been given the training that they need to be successful in their roles. Now, Aaron has a plan of attack. He has several things that he might do. He may invest in some additional training. He may speak with some of his leaders about work-life balance, some of those other areas that were coming into play. And he may also talk to his company admin, Lisa, to launch a recognition program. Now, Awardco recognition programs are not going to solve things overnight. The idea of taking this information from the engagement survey and applying recognition to it is to help reinforce those behaviors, to show that we're recognizing when people are doing the right thing, when they're advancing within their careers. So with Awardco Engage, Aaron has very quickly gone from that upper level, understanding the general information about his full team in real time, to understanding what are those core areas, the themes, as well as some areas that he needs to focus on directly. Now, what he would do from there is talk to Lisa, his Awardco admin, who can set up a program specifically for his department to address some of those areas. Now, I've already started one, so you don't have to watch me build this from scratch. So Lisa can come into this Learn, Lift, Recognize program. She's branded it, she's created the program description, all of these areas that need to focus on Aaron's team. Within Awardco, she also has the ability to set those eligibility rules. We don't want this to be an organizational-wide program. This is only to help Aaron's team around support. So she's limited that based on the metadata that's being passed into Awardco from her HRIS system. Without having to go through a manual setup or additional steps, she can easily configure that program so that it's only targeting people on Aaron's team. Now within that, she of course can make this a monetary program. I've chosen to leave it non-monetary. One of the strengths of Awardco is we don't lock you into a specific methodology. Yes, we all appreciate points and money. That's always a great motivator factor. But it's not the most important thing. You don't want people changing their behaviors just because they're going to get a payout. So with Lisa, she can come in, make all of those edits herself. She could also work with her CSM at Awardco if she wanted some additional help with it. She can configure all of the steps around this program, the questions that are going to be on the form, the branding, the display, how it will show up when it's eligible for Erin's employees, and then she can publish that. As soon as she's ready to go, she can launch the program. It's now live within Awardco. The only people that are going to see this when they go to give some recognition are members of Erin's departments, because that's where we're trying to impact that change. The key points here, Lisa is able to do that herself. She didn't have to file a support ticket. She didn't have to wait on services to do something for her. That's the power of Awardco's configurability. She could easily come in, create something that is just tailored to a specific team, a department, a location. All of that she was able to do within a few minutes. Granted, I set up some of the branding ahead of time. She probably would spend some extra time there. Now, more importantly, Erin, as he looks through his data, he wants to understand, is that program actually making a difference? Is it changing things for his employees and what they're going through? So as the program is live, as people are recognizing each other, as they're calling out, maybe they got trained on a new skill, and we want to recognize them for that. Maybe they stood up and helped mentor another employee. Again, we're recognizing those ongoing behaviors, the things that they're going through in their day-to-day life, because we're addressing those issues that they identified through their engagement survey. With our Better Together plan, we've done the listening in Awardco Engage. That's the part you're seeing from Erin. Then he drove some action. Lisa set up that program, again, to drive the ongoing reinforcement of those actions. And then, as you can imagine, a few months later, they want to check that reliability. Did it actually move the needle? Did it actually make some changes to those issues that Erin was seeing? So here again, Lisa can come in as the admin and create a new pulse survey. She doesn't want to have to wait for that annual engagement survey that's not going to be running for maybe 9 or 10 months from now. She wants something to understand what was the impact of that program right away. So for her, she's going to come into Awardco Engage and create an entirely new survey. Again, did one a little bit ahead of time, so you don't have to watch me create it from scratch. So you'll see right here, she's created this survey called a Support Experience Snapshot. Now, really, what this is a pulse survey. She didn't need to wait for that annual engagement survey to run, the big giant push and the big initiative. She could create this directly within Awardco Engage. Again, you can see she has control over the survey description, the branding, whether they're going to award points as a reward for doing this. As she comes through, she can move over, look at the questions that she wants to add in. Awardco Engage offers you two options for this. First of all, she could add questions from our standard question library, a set of questions aligned to those various themes, as you can see listed here. She could select one of these questions. So let's say we want to grab one more of the recognition questions. She can pull in and say, hey, this is the one we asked in the annual engagement survey. Wanted to make sure I include that one. But maybe it's hey, I want people to understand that their teammates are also invested in that ongoing success. So maybe she wants to add that question in as well. The question library is there. It's there, all of our standard themes, the associated questions that she could choose from at any point. She also has the ability to add custom questions. So you can see this is one I had added previously. I'm going to reorder that real quick. But she can come in if the standard questions are not enough, if there is a particular question she wants to ask within that survey, she can come in and do that herself. So I added an open text question, that long answer question type, but she could add any of the various questions and still see that within her resulting data file. Now, Once she's happy with this question list, I saw the question from chat, how we determine the questions that included in our library. So our Center of Excellence team, our organizational psychologist went through, performed research to look for what are the questions and the wording that can actually impact that measurement back to overall engagement. So all of these questions are research-backed. They're all available to all of our engaged customers. Again, you are not locked into that standard library. You can always add those custom questions as you see fit. So for Lisa, she's added the questions in. The next thing she wants to look at is who should be the participants. Now, in her organization, her company overall, they have almost 700 employees. Not all of those report up to Aaron and his organization. We're not sending out a survey to everyone. So what she wants to do is she'll set who's eligible to take that survey. Now, Aaron has 2 teams that report under him. He has client success and he has support. So she can easily check that from our list of metadata. Again, from the HRIS system, it's already pulled in within the platform. She can limit who receives those surveys, who's going to have access to it, and you'll see that's now tailored down to 106 eligible employees. So she can set that at any point. There are some additional options that she could set here. If she wanted to reward people with some points for completing the survey, she could go through all of those steps, but we're gonna move forward. Next, she comes up to her schedule. So this is a pulse survey. We just wanna send it the one time. It's a few questions. We don't need to break this out. But if this was a longer survey, maybe she wants to field those annual engagement questions, but on a monthly basis. She could choose to do that as well. So all of that is at her disposal to come in, set how frequently should people see these questions show up, and then more importantly, once she moves forward, she has the ability to set the communication levels. So maybe she does want to send a specific survey invitation. Hey, we want this to go out to everyone's email. We want it to pop up in their Teams application. Or if I leave that off, what would happen is that it's going to appear directly on each user's homepage. So in the surveys widget, the eligible people in the client success and the support teams would see a survey waiting for them to take. So if I go forward and review that one, so you'll see, get all my settings to review, I can publish it. That's, again, now live. The only people that are going to see it are going to be people in Aaron's organization. Other folks will not see the survey. The nice thing is she could set the results to show up immediately, so Aaron can come back and review those same results as they're coming in. A few questions have come in around surveys, so I want to address those really quickly. Privacy thresholds. So within Awardco Engage, we've set a threshold at 5 responses, meaning in any of Aaron's reporting, whether he is filtering down across the data, whether he's looking at different cuts of the data, different leader teams, if that drops below 5 responses, he will not see any results. We're hiding that because we want to maintain that confidentiality for the employees. Another great question, could the managers run their own surveys? So could Aaron go in and create that survey himself? You can allow that. So survey admin is a separate permission. You could grant Aaron the permission to go in and create surveys. In my example, I didn't do that. I kept it centralized, but you absolutely could do that within the platform. And then the last question on employee access. Obviously, everything I'm showing you here is based on the desktop, but all of this works directly in the Awardco mobile app. So people that are on mobile, they're deskless employees, can still access the exact same survey, the exact same flow there. They can also see it in a mobile browser. So absolutely mobile aware, it's platform mobility, so all of that's going to carry through as well. Now, the key points that we didn't really hit on too hard, as Lisa was creating that survey, notice she didn't have to go back to IT to create an invitation file. She didn't have to go to another group to pull together the list of respondents that she needs to add into this survey. That's one of the ways that Awardco connects the recognition, the platform itself, with engagement and employee listening. Because you're already setting up a user file to control Awardco permissions, hierarchies, the overall platform itself, Lisa can take advantage of that same feed. It's already coming in every night or every week, so when she's ready to create a new survey, she can do that herself and pull it in. Now, one of the other questions we often get around surveys, I mentioned the confidentiality threshold. Within Awardco Engage, that is our approach, is that confidential level. We do also offer a product called Simple Surveys, which doesn't have as fully featured reporting, some of the pieces you saw with Aaron. Those surveys can be set up to be fully anonymous. Now, the downside with an anonymous survey is obviously you lose the metadata reporting that Aaron could access here. So he can see, departments, he can filter down by all of those areas. In an anonymous survey, you would lose that. But you do have that option to pull together as you need to. The main things I wanted to leave you with, and then we'll answer some additional questions, so please keep dropping those in the chat. I appreciate those. The concept of better together is really around this idea of you can have employee listening directly within the same platform that you're allowing employees to recognize each other, redeem their awards for various items within the platform. You don't need to create those as separate platforms. Now, some of the future ideas, this future functionality that's coming in is going to be action planning. So directly here within the platform, Aaron could see ideas that are bubbling up from those survey responses, create an action plan directly within the platform. Lisa, as the admin, can then see those action plans and track the completion rates and how all of that is going through as well. The other area, our sentiment analysis around those open comments that are coming through, will also be in the platform. So we're finding more and more ways to integrate that employee engagement data with the rich recognition data that we've always collected. So as you're looking at how to work these two platforms together, keep in mind it's a fully integrated system. Everything is already there. You're already pulling in the same data, the same user files, but you always have the control to come through and create new programs with specific eligibility and also follow up that reporting after the fact. So that's the full circle I wanted to show you today. Aaron, a leader, listening, finding some areas of action, our program admin launching a program to help address some of those issues, and then monitoring that change over time to see how they can further improve it. So please, again, drop any additional questions you have in the chat. Happy to start answering some of those. So the question, integration with Microsoft 365. So Awardco is fully embedded within Teams, Outlook, 365 itself. We also have, so those are direct application embeds. If you're in Teams, you can see Awardco exactly the way it looks in this browser right here. We also have a fully featured set of APIs if you have additional connections that you want to make outside of those native integrations. Now, as far as pulling reports for all of the survey responses, today that's not included within the platform. Each of the surveys is going to be a standalone data set. It is one of the things we're looking at of how do you combine that cross-survey reporting so that you can see greater trends, greater analysis along the way. So stay tuned, that part is coming soon. And a great question from Troy, so thank you for that. If an employee enters a negative or a positive survey response, can the manager enter follow-up notes? So because we're looking at that confidential side, we don't have a way for the manager to directly address that employee. What they could do is in the platform itself, of course, they could see those results coming through. They could see the comments that are applied. So they do have that ability to see it. It's also something that would show up in action planning. Again, not directly into a single employee because we're keeping that confidentiality standpoint. But they do have that ability to come in and see that. Another great question out there from Megan, how does AI play into this? Right now, we have our AI looking at more of the recognition side and the consolidation of results. Some of the areas that you're going to see it start to appear more in Awardco Engage will be around comment analysis, the action planning, suggesting ideas, pieces of that nature that are coming through, and then also in the survey build side. So what we're looking at currently within the product team is allowing Lisa to come in and say, through a natural language prompt, hey, I want to do a survey that's measuring these particular areas, and then the AI will suggest those related questions and themes that are in the question library. So we're trying to find ways to use AI to help people to speed up the productivity in the process without taking that human element of review, acknowledgement, and approval before anything goes out. And a great question, Albert, on is it truly confidential if rewards can be given for taking the survey? A lot of employees will have that question. So part of that you can address in the launch materials and how you're rolling it out. From Awardco's perspective, yes, it is still confidential. We're awarding those points. It is dropping it into their account. The same way you can see a general status of has someone completed the survey or not. But in the reporting, we're not tying into any of that individually identifiable information. So it is something you have to address at launch, you have to address in the materials so employees feel comfortable about it. You also don't have to award the reward points. It is an option. You could choose not to include that if you think it's going to be a sensitive area. And love the question, does Awardco use its own platform to recognize its employees? Not yet, because Awardco Engage came out this year. We had already run our engagement platform or our engagement survey for the year. But yes, there are plans. Our next rounds will be in Awardco Engage. We already are running some pulse surveys, those check-in surveys. We are running that in Awardco Engage today. Love the question, how are employees notified? So first off, it would appear in their homepage. So if I pop back out here as Aaron, you'll see an area where the survey widget would sit on his homepage. He would see waiting surveys there. You can also push those notifications out through email, push notifications to our mobile app. Again, if you're in Teams, they would see a Teams notification. A Slack notification would also show up there as well. All right, one other question here on does Awardco use Awardco to recognize employees outside of Awardco Engage? Yes, absolutely, every single day. Our recognition feed is just scrolling all of the time. We have a number of programs. I love always mentioning this. I think at any given time, we have 40 different programs running. Me as an individual contributor, I only see one or two of those. So again, that idea of, hey, how do we target these programs? How do we get it just to the right people without introducing noise? That's really how you build up that culture of overall recognition. So I thank everyone that attended today. Really appreciate your time. Hopefully you've learned a little bit about how to combine the power of employee listening, the Awardco Engage, and our recognition platforms and the full platform within Awardco. Be sure to click the button up at the top right of your screen to learn some more. If you want to find out more about how any of these systems work, we would love the opportunity to discuss it further with you. So thank you again for the time. Have a great day.